Hi, Ann here from Backroad Buddies, and the video we want to share with you today is about our Season 5 recap of 2023 and our plans for the upcoming Season 6 2024. Now, the theme for Season 5 was the Southern States. Now, we did a little more than just the Southern States. For one, we wanted to pop up to Ohio and visit relatives, but then it turned out we had to change some plans along the way and make a beeline back to Ohio for a memorial service. And even though we started out kind of in the cold, we ended up hitting Texas about when a heat dome settled in. So what we remember the most from the season was how hot it was. But despite the heat and the change of plans, we really had some wonderful experiences. Now here is a map of our actual travels. So we live up here in Colorado, so we started out by heading through Oklahoma, down through Arkansas and Louisiana, Mississippi, and all the way down to the tip of Florida and up, and then this is where we kind of made the excursion up to Ohio, but we kind of had some change of plans in here, so kind of made a little loop, and then we worked our way back down to the southern states, came across, and then we're up here. We actually popped back up into Colorado for a little bit, and we were way down in here when we realized we need to go back to Ohio for a memorial service, so we made a beeline all the way back and all the way back, and we made it back to Albuquerque just in time for the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta, and then made one last stop in Palo Duro Canyon in Texas before heading home. So if you look at the stats for the season, I can give them to you. So it was our longest season yet. We were on the road 232 nights, which is about 7.5 months. We covered over 18,000 miles through 19 different states. We stayed in 66 different campgrounds along with 4 different hotels, and that was mainly on our beeline back to Ohio because we had an extra passenger with us. And so the states that we went through were Colorado, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, West Virginia, Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, Kansas, and Illinois. So you can see there's a lot more than the southern states, but that theme was really kind of what drove our itinerary. And we visited a lot of national parks and federal lands, so it was 11 national parks along with 13 additional other federal lands. So these included Big Bend National Park, Biscayne National Park, Carlsbad Caverns National Park, Congaree National Park, Dry Tortugas National Park, Everglades National Park, Grand Canyon National Park, Guadalupe Mountains National Park, Mammoth Cave National Park, New River Gorge National Park, Petrified Forest National Park, Natchez Trace Parkway, Canyon de Chelly National Monument, Organ Pipe Cactus National Monument, Sunset Crater Volcano National Monument, Castillo de San Marcos National Monument, Big Cypress National Preserve, Cane River National Heritage Area, Bandelier National Monument, Gulf Islands National Seashore, Blue Ridge Parkway, Choctaw Lake Recreation Area, and Glen Canyon National Recreation Area. In addition, we did 32 different state parks, and those included Cheyenne Mountain State Park in Colorado, Black Mesa State Park, Little Sahara State Park, and Talamina State Park in Oklahoma. In Arkansas, we visited Craters of Diamonds State Park. In Florida, we did a lot of state parks. So it was Fred Gannon Rocky Bayou State Park, Three Rivers State Park, Silver Springs State Park, Myakka River State Park, Long Key State Park, and Anastasia State Park. And then in Georgia, it was Skidaway Island State Park. South Carolina included Hunting Island State Park, Huntington Beach State Park, and Poinsett State Park. In North Carolina, we visited South Mountain State Park and Mount Mitchell State Park. In West Virginia, we stayed in the Babcock State Park. In Indiana was Charleston State Park. In Tennessee, we camped in Cedars of Lebanon State Park. In Mississippi, we stayed in Tishomingo State Park and Natchez State Park. Louisiana found us in Bogachita State Park. In Texas, there was McKinney Falls State Park, Big Bend Ranch State Park, and Palodero Canyon State Park. 3 in New Mexico were Manzano Mountain State Park, Hyde Memorial State Park, and Cimarron Canyon State Park. And then last but not least were the ones in Arizona, which were Homolovi State Park, Dead Horse Ranch State Park, and Lost Dutchman State Park. So all those national parks and state parks allowed us to do a lot of hiking, and we did also some cycling and some paddleboarding as well. So we had a lovely time doing that. In addition, we also did a short backpacking trip, a 2-nighter, to go see the Wheeler Geologic Area. In addition to all the parks, we also like strolling towns, and that could be big cities or it can be small little towns. So the ones we visited this season, the large cities were Savannah in Georgia, Dayton and Cincinnati in Ohio, Louisville in Kentucky, Nashville in Tennessee, Fort Worth, San Antonio, and Austin in Texas, Santa Fe, and Albuquerque in New Mexico. So some of the small towns we visited were Key West and St. Augustine in Florida, Tupelo in Mississippi, Fredericksburg and Terlingua in Texas, Creede in Colorado, Chama in New Mexico, and Winslow and Sedona in Arizona. And then there were 2 destinations that were kind of in a category all to themselves. One was Disney World in Florida, where we stayed at Fort Wilderness. And the other was the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta, which kind of was the big grand finale of the season. Now, as I'm summarizing the season, it sounds like it was this big whirlwind tour and we were rushing all over the place, but it didn't actually feel that way. I think we really found our pace. We normally averaged 4 nights every destination. So sometimes only 3 and sometimes as many as 5 or more. But 4 seems to be that sweet spot where you can still really explore an area and just kind of at a leisurely pace. So it really felt a lot more relaxed this season, more so than the previous seasons. Now here's a map of our plans for season 6. So our theme this year is the West Coast, and it's really obvious this time. So here we are starting out in Colorado. We're going to make a few stops in Utah and Nevada as we work our way over to California. And then we're going to kind of go up the interior along the coast and come back along the coast and then work our way back to Colorado. It's going to be a little shorter of a season, 5.5 months instead of 7.5 months like it was last year. But we're really looking forward to it. We really have some exciting things to do. In addition, over the winter, we took a few trips without the RV, and then in April, we took the RV down for kind of a shakedown trip down to Texas to see the total solar eclipse. So we'll share those trips with you as well. Well, that sums it up. I hope you enjoy following us along with our adventures and gives you some inspiration for going out on your own adventures. So happy trails and safe travels. Thanks for watching. If you want more details, look in the description below for a link to our related blog posts, so check that out. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Ta-ta for now.